And the last audition I had for Grease, and I only had 2 of them, was with Louis St. Louis, the music director, who put me through every possible note that my voice could make. And I learned later that he was just trying to figure out, they hadn't even decided, exactly everything that Sandy would sing, but he wanted to see what the possibilities were. And he wanted to see, if I could sing that 50s stuff and whatever. I had no idea that I would end up with it. I asked Ken Waisman, our producer then, I asked him if, how come I did one audition and I never heard from them again until he asked me to come in and do that whole thing with my voice. And he said, because we knew right away we wanted you. I said, no. And I waited all those horrible weeks to go through, for a call back, and you never called me back. I had no idea.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. And when you were part of that legendary production of Grease, what was that like? And taking on, originating that role, that classic role of Sandy, extraordinary.
Well, I think one of the main parts for me was that Sandy on paper was wallpaper, very pretty.
Yeah.
And not much else. And I thought, well, wait a minute. This is a guy, he's the king of the hill. He can have anybody. And all those other girls are flashy and trashy and, interesting. What am I going to do with her? What is it about her that he's drawn to? He has a summer ahead of him with anyone he wants. And this is the girl he ends up spending his time with. He's completely drawn to her, obviously. And then when, as you can see from the Summer Nights number, he lies about the entire experience because his friends would never understand this. I just decided, that she's really much more sensual and, than you think, that she has a light that he's drawn to, that she has, she's a very good person. She's pretty, she's smart, but she has a certain passion. And I tried to find places, in the script where she could be those things, that she was kind and she could be a little funny, and that she saw it past his bravado and all of his posing and all of that. She saw the Danny she knew was in there, who was, his need to stay at the top of the heap changed his behavior completely the next time she saw him, the first day of school. But really, there was something very warm there and very good between them. And it's funny because when we did our 20th anniversary meeting, and it was in LA, and it was a big event, in a big ballroom with everyone who'd been in the show and everyone who'd been in one of the tours done by the original, team of Pat Birch, and Tom Moore, whatever. They wrote a script for us, for me and for Barry and me. And we entered the ballroom in a golf cart. That was sort of transformed into Greased Lightning, but not really.
Right.
And we drove it through the tables and up to the front. We were in the light, and we were at a drive-in.
Wow.
And this is Danny and Sandy 20 years later. And what's happening here is that she's all over him and full of memories, and he's falling asleep. So, but we didn't have time to learn it. And so I said, well, we could put it on the dashboard, and we can read it. We can see it. And he goes, how are we going to see it without glasses? not, it's not far enough away.
Bring those readers in quick, right? That is funny. Now, isn't there something too? Was there a poster or something that you had that you were going to show? Because there's a, you're still, reminiscing about Greece, right? It continues today as we speak.
Yes, it does. And
Yeah.
one of the things that keeps it alive, I think, is because so many high schools, first of all, those kids never saw the real show, but they saw the movie and they all loved it. And everybody wants to be in Greece when they're in high school if that's the big show, the big play.
And it's softened, isn't it, from the original a little bit?
And there is even a special script for high school that isn't quite as gritty.